Hello and welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see very important current affairs that appeared in our today's Hindu newspaper, guys. So let's get started with that discussion. And before that we are going to conducting scholarship test, All India scholarship test for online students. So you can take that test on 21st May. Don't forget. And to register for that examination, so see the description of this video. I gave you the form link there. So please try to fill that form. Yes, see the first article, guys. So what is the title? What is the title here? So see. Border Security Force Constable detained by Pakistan Rangers released. So what is happening between India and Pakistan? Is that relation going good? No, right? So what is happening? So there is increased tensions between India and Pakistan. So what was the main reason for increasing of tensions? Pahalgam terror attack. After that, what is the operation India did? Operation Sindoor. So actually what was the story is, so whenever there is increasing of escalations or tensions between this India and Pakistan, so one of our BSF is nothing but Border Security Force personnel, he crossed India-Pakistan border line. So if he is crossing, what happens? The people from other side, that is Pakistan guarding force, that guarding force is called as Pakistan Rangers, they took him away. And finally, after talks, this Pakistan Rangers, they released that BSF person of India. So this is that article. Clear? So what is this title is saying? So BSF constable detained by this Pakistan Rangers after crossing of this Indo-Pakistan border line, he had been released now. Clear? So from which subject we can see this, guys? So can we talk about this topic under India-Pakistan relations? Yes? India-Pakistan relations comes under which subject? Yes, from GS paper 2 under international relations, you can see this. So this is the first dimension that you have to think. And if you go back to the title, so which are the forces that they gave? On one side there is BSF and next one is Pakistan Rangers, right? So other important keywords that you have to see is BSF. What is the full form of BSF? Border Security Force. Next one is Pakistan Rangers. Okay, so what does this BSF do? BSF guards border. Which border will be guarded by BSF? India, Pakistan and as well as India, Bangladesh. So actually we have Central Armed Police Forces. Okay, so who are they? I'll tell now. So here we have India, right? So India is sharing border with different countries. So here we have Army and we have Navy and also we have Air Force. Okay, so these are the services which comes under Ministry of Defense and they will be guarding our border. Apart from that, in our India, within our country also we will be having a lot of disturbances, right? We have Naxalism, we have Maoism, we have terrorism and we have violence, okay? We have insurgency from other countries, we have communal violence, everything. So inside our country also, we are having a lot of disturbances, not only across border. So for this, we have this CAPF to control internal security, that is inside our country. And each and every state is having its own state police services. Apart from that, from Union Home Ministry. Okay, so here we have Union Home Ministry under which we have this Central Armed Police Forces. They will be taking care of maintaining of peace and security within country apart from our state police services. Clear? So here from which subject we can see this BSF? From internal security, which comes under which subject? Sorry, which paper? Paper 3. In paper 3, we have internal security, where you will be studying about different forces which are providing peace and security or which are maintaining internal security of a country. Okay, so like BSF in our country, so in Pakistan, they have one force which is guarding India-Pakistan border, that is Pakistan Rangers. So if you see here, this is our India-Pakistan border, right? So here in this side we have BSF, on this side who they have? Pakistan Rangers. Apart from Pakistan Army. So we have they have Pakistan Army there, and apart from that they have Pakistan Rangers. And here we have Indian Army. Apart from that we have even BSF. Clear? So here how the question can come in your examination. So here you can get a question regarding this BSF. So first type of question you can get is consider the following statements regarding BSF, and they may give 2 to 3 statements and they'll ask you to find out correct or incorrect statements. And apart from this BSF, we have Assam Rifles, we have Indo-Tibetan Border Forces, and even we have Sasastra Seema Bal, CRPF. So they will ask which border is guarded by which force. They'll give choose the correct answer like pairs. On one side they'll give forces, on one side they'll give Indo-Pakistan, Indo-Bangladesh, Indo-Sikkim, like that. Okay, so like that they'll give on one side and they'll ask you to find out which is the correct pair or incorrect pair. So in these 2 ways you can expect a question from this area. Okay, now let us see the facts regarding this BSF. Okay, so a border security force constable who was taken away by this Pakistan Rangers on April 23rd, day after Pahalgam terror attack, because he crossed over international boundary in Punjab region. Okay, and finally this person had been returned to India. So if you see some facts regarding this BSF, when it was raised in year 1965. So what happened in this 1965? One important event, Indo-Pakistan War. After this Indo-Pakistan War, so we thought that not only army is safeguarding this border, even we need other forces which comes under Ministry of Home Affairs. So later on we came up with this establishment of this BSF in year 1965. And next one is, it is one of the 7 central CAPF, that is Central Armed Police Forces, which comes under which ministry? Union Home Affairs. Okay, that is nothing but Ministry of Home Affairs. So here UPSC will be confusing you. They'll simply give Ministry of Defense. Then this will be a wrong statement. Okay, CAPF comes under Ministry of Home Affairs only, not under Ministry of Defense. Under Ministry of Defense we have Army, Indian Navy and Indian Air Force. Okay. And if you see other Central Armed Police Forces we have, that are Assam Rifles, we have Indo-Tibetan Border Force. So this force will be guarding our India and China border. And we have CISF. So if you go to any airport, so we will be having the CISF people. They will be providing security in very important areas. And this one is, we have CRPF, we have NSG, and we have Sasastra Seema Bal. So this Sasastra Seema Bal will be guarding the borders between India and Bhutan, and as well as India and Nepal. Okay, and actually along this India-Pakistan and India-Bangladesh border, so these forces, they are deployed around 2.65 lakh forces we have, and they will be bordering India-Bangladesh and as well as India-Pakistan border. Yeah, that is a thing. And even this force which is also contributing for United Nations peacekeeping missions also. It is very important. And if you see some facts regarding this Pakistan Rangers, they are again paramilitary forces of Pakistan, and they are responsible for border security and as well as internal law enforcement in Pakistan. And this Pakistan Rangers will comes under Ministry of Interior of Pakistan. Okay. And here in this Pakistan Rangers, we have 2 branches. So one is Punjab Rangers and next one is Sindh Rangers. So actually our BSF personnel, he crossed boundary at this Punjab region and he was caught by this Punjab Rangers. Okay. So here if you see about this Punjab Rangers, the headquarters of this Punjab Rangers is present at Lahore, and the important role here is to guard Punjab province. Okay, that is the thing, nothing more than that. And next one is Sindh Rangers, their headquarters is Karachi, and their role is to protect the Sindh province. Clear about this article? So now you have understood about who are this BSF and who are this Pakistan Rangers, why this Pakistan Rangers and BSF is in use. And it is from our international relations and as well as from internal security from GS paper 3. So now let us see the next article. See this title, guys. Sikkim celebrates golden jubilee of statehood with race into spot butterflies. So what is this article talking about? Is Sikkim a state of our country or not? Yes? Okay. Earlier, whether it was a state, if you go back to our pre-independence time, no, it was a separate province. Okay, so here, this article is saying that, what is Golden Jubilee? No, 50 years. So you'll be hearing about the Silver Jubilee, Golden Jubilee, Diamond Jubilee. So you have to know after how many years you are going to celebrate it for sure. Okay, so here Sikkim became which state? What is the number of the state of this Sikkim when we added that Sikkim into our country? Any idea? Sikkim is 22nd state. Okay, Sikkim is 22nd state that added into our Union of India in year 1975. And what is this year now which is going on? 2025. So it is 50th anniversary of integrating of Sikkim, or Sikkim became the part of our country as 22nd state. So they are celebrating this Golden Jubilee. Okay, so this is the title. And here you can see they are celebrating this Golden Jubilee with a race to spot butterflies. Actually, Sikkim is very much famous for butterflies, and we can find more than 700 different species of butterflies in this Sikkim. And why they are going for spotting of these butterflies is they want to promote eco-tourism. So what is specialty of Sikkim? Can anyone tell me? So what is the geography of this Sikkim? Yes, which mountains we have? It is a Himalayan state, right? Okay, so Himalayas are very much famous for tourism. And recently Sikkim is in use for what? Plastic waste. Yes, very good. So in all these Himalayan states, so Sikkim is generating more amount of plastic because of reason ecotourism, right? Because of increasing of tourists, especially single-use plastic of food items like water bottles, chips or everything. So here there is increasing of plastic waste that we discussed in at least 3 to 4 days ago, right? So again now here Sikkim is celebrating this Golden Jubilee of the statehood, and they wants to promote again ecotourism. So what you have to see here? You have to see about history of this Sikkim, and you have to see about which state it is and when it was integrated into our country. Okay, so here this article is important from your polity, which comes under GS paper 2. So in polity, if you have open your Lakshmikant, you will be having one separate chapter regarding states. It's on union and its territory. In that they clearly gave which state had been added into our country, when it was formed, everything. So you have to refer that chapter once. So now if you see the facts regarding this article, so Sikkim is celebrating this Golden Jubilee of its statehood, and actually they are going for butterfly spot, and this event is called as Butterthon. So please make a note, Butterthon. So here how can you get a question is recently Butterthon is in use. What it is? It is the statehood celebrations of which state? Sikkim. Okay, and it is 16 days event, and it is dedicated for butterfly watching only. Okay, so remember this Butterthon. So Butterthon is related to Sikkim's Golden Jubilee celebrations. And if you see some facts regarding the Sikkim, it is located in northeastern part of our country, and it is one of the smallest states in India. And actually at this 1950, it was not the state of our country, but it is just protectorate of our country. And finally, Sikkim became 22nd state of India. Please make a note. Sikkim became 22nd state of India in year 1975. Okay, and even you may get question. So till Sikkim became a state of India, which was under control of which kingdom? So please make a note. Before 1975, Sikkim was under control of Namgyal dynasty. Okay, Namgyal dynasty. And even you may also get a question, Namgyal dynasty is related to which state? Okay, it is related to again Sikkim. And if you see about the geography of this Sikkim, can anyone tell me which is the highest peak in Sikkim? Yesterday's class, Himalayas done, right? Indian geography. Tell me the important peaks. Peaks, important peaks in yesterday's class only. K2 next. In Sikkim, nearby Sikkim. Kanchenjunga. Yes, Mount Kanchenjunga is the highest peak and the world's third highest mountain lies in Sikkim. Okay, so here I want to frame you a question and I want to let you know how question can come in your UPSC prelims. Consider the following statements regarding Sikkim. Sikkim became 21st state and integrated into Union of India in 1975. Is that correct or wrong? 21st or 22nd? 22nd. That means that first statement is wrong. And I will say like this. So K2 is the largest mountain, highest peak which is present in Sikkim. Is K2 present in Sikkim? No. Then again it is wrong. And Sikkim before 1975 was under control of this Namgyal dynasty. Is that right? Right. So in this way you will be getting three different statements. One can be from history, one can be from geography, one can be from polity. So you need to have overall integrated knowledge regarding that topic if it is in news. Clear? Okay. Now even you can see about this rivers also. Which rivers are flowing in this? Okay, Sikkim is drained by river Teesta. So what is this river Teesta? Any current affairs which is there in news regarding river Teesta? Teesta Dam. Next. So between which and which country this issue is going on? River Teesta. India and not China. India and Bangladesh. So there is Teesta water sharing issue between India and Bangladesh. Okay, like that you have to see. And Teesta is the river which is tributary of in turn which Himalayan river? Yes, river Brahmaputra. You have to interconnect like this. Clear? Yeah. Next article. See the title, guys. Indigenous weapon systems highly effective, says center. So because of this Pakistan and India issue which is going on, so India did Operation Sindoor because of this Pahalgam terror attack, and even they used drones, especially from which country they got the drones from? Yes, from Turkey they got the drones, right? And India also used some weapons in this Operation Sindoor. So can anyone tell me which weapons that we used? Rafale jets, S-400 missile system, and next we used this Akash. Akash is very, very efficient in this attack actually. So if there is any kind of military equipments or defense equipments in use, you have to know what is that equipment and for what we can use that, from which country we got it. Okay. So already in earlier classes I discussed about S-400 missile system and how we are using that, what is the effectiveness of that, from which country we got it, everything. Here in our today's newspaper, we have this news article regarding Akash missile. Okay, you have to know about this. So Akash missile is indigenously developed. Indigenous is nothing but within our country we developed, right? So it is developed by DRDO. So do you know about this DRDO? Have heard about DRDO, DRDL, like that. So those are the Defense Research Development Organization. So this is indigenously made missile. And it is surface to air missile. That means we are keeping it on surface and we are targeting the missile, we are targeting the things which are going in the air. For example, if there are any drones which are coming from Pakistan, or if there are any missiles coming from Pakistan, from surface we are targeting the air things. This is called as surface to air missile. Okay. And the capability here is it can target any aircraft or any drone. It is around 45 kilometers away. So till 45 kilometers, if it is 45 kilometers near, we can use this Akash missile and we can target that or we can intercept that. Okay, that is the thing that you have to see. And currently, we are using this in our Indian Army and as well as Indian Air Force. Okay, now let us see the next article. Title says, IMF releases 1 billion tranche to Pakistan. So, I think 3 to 4 days ago, we discussed this article. What we discussed there? India abstained, right? India abstained to vote for releasing of $1 billion to Pakistan by IMF. Okay? Yes, even though India abstained from voting, they got money. Okay, so why India abstained? What we discussed in that class? Yes, they are using for other purpose for terror financing. So India didn't support it for releasing of this money from IMF to Pakistan. But finally this article says that yes, IMF releases 1 billion tranche to Pakistan. So how you can get a question? So here you can get a question regarding this IMF. What is IMF? International Monetary Fund. Okay, so you have to know some basics of this IMF, and you have to know why IMF is releasing funds to Pakistan. So what is the important reason is BOP, balance of payment crisis. So balance of payment crisis is nothing but if country is not having enough forex reserves, that is nothing but foreign currency, they can't pay for the imports, right? So in that condition, what happens? That country will reach this IMF to get some funds. Okay. So actually Pakistan is facing this balance of payment crisis. And what is the reason behind this balance of payment crisis? Last year there was floods and even political instability in that region, and there is no proper trade. So always there will be wars which is going on, and always government of Pakistan will go for funding of these terror organizations. So because of this, they are not having enough forex reserves. So they said that we are having this balance of payment crisis and we need some funds, and they approached IMF. Not only this Pakistan, even one more country went to IMF recently. What is that? Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka and Pakistan, those are two neighboring countries. They approached IMF to release funds because of this balance of payment crisis. So what was the reason why Sri Lanka went for this balance of payment crisis? Yes, political issues. Next, because of Chinese interference in Sri Lanka, because of Hambantota port development, and they went for organic farming, which was unsustainable in that Sri Lanka. Because of that, they got huge losses. Okay, because of these reasons, they got their finances low, and they also approached this IMF. And for Sri Lanka, India supported, but Pakistan, India didn't support it. But even though India didn't support this Pakistan, this article is saying that yes, IMF releasing these funds. Clear? Clear? Okay, now let us see some facts regarding this IMF. So where you will be studying about this IMF in your syllabus? Yes, World Bank, IMF, these are Bretton Woods wins. Okay, so you will be studying about those in your economy. So economy comes under which paper? GS paper 3. Okay, if you see some facts here, IMF, it is a specialized United Nations agency, and this was formed in year 1944. Okay, especially because at that time there was a Great Depression during this World War II time. So because of this, they formed this organization. And actually, before that also they got, 1928 also we got this Great Depression. And actually because of this Great Depression, so they want to promote monetary cooperation, that is nothing but finances for the countries, and they want to ensure financial stability, and also international trade they want to support. They want to support even employment opportunity and to reduce poverty. So they came up with this establishment of IMF. So what are the functions? So especially it will provide economic surveillance. So if any country is having this balance of payment crisis, they can approach this IMF so that they can get loans. And next one here is financial assistance. As I said, technical assistance they'll get, and even they'll be getting loans for economic reforms, everything. So these are the important functions. On these functions, you can get mains question also, guys. And now let us see the next article. See the title. Former Defense Secretary Ajay Kumar is UPSC chairman now. Is that relevant to your syllabus? Yes, in your polity, you will be studying bodies. So how many types of bodies we have? Constitutional bodies and non-constitutional bodies. In constitutional bodies, you will be studying about this UPSC, right? So because of this, this is a very relevant article from your examination point of view. And from this constitutional, non-constitutional bodies, so which kind of question you can expect? You can expect prelims-based question. Okay, you have to be very much careful about this, and every year there will be at least 1 to 2 questions from this constitutional and non-constitutional bodies. And this year we are going to expect a question regarding this UPSC because of this election, because of this appointment of this new UPSC chairman this year. Okay, what is a constitutional body and what is a non-constitutional body? What is the difference? If there is any article in our constitution talks about that body, it is a constitutional body. Non-constitutional means nothing but about that body in our constitution is nowhere written. But how it came? It is through any act. For example, National Human Rights Commission. There is no article which talks about that. but that body had been established by this Human Rights Act. Okay, and next one here is, if there is any necessary, even president can form that through presidential resolution. So these are the bodies which comes under non-constitutional bodies. Only whenever the articles of our constitution talks about that body, then that is called as constitutional body. So this is a very important thing that you have to know. So if you see some facts regarding this UPSC, which articles talks about it, please make a note. Article 315 to Article 323. Okay, Article 315 to Article 323 talks about this UPSC. And in this UPSC, what we have chairman and we have other members. So now the appointment of this person, chairman, happened. Okay, who will do the appointment of these members? That is President of India. Very, very important. It is not the governor, it is president. And what is the tenure? Tenure is 6 years or till age of 65 years. Okay, so there can be the removal of this person also happens. So for the removal, so there is certain criteria. So who will remove? Again, president will remove that so and so person on the basis of misbehavior. Okay, that is the thing. And even they can resign. So whenever they are resigning, they have to give their resignation letter to again president. And very, very important points that you have to remember is in this box. You will be getting confused with this. So chairman, once he is appointed, he is not at all eligible for any further employment. And this one is other members, they are eligible for appointment as chairman. Okay, other members, they can become the chairman, but chairman, once he appointed, he will be not eligible for again reappointment as members or again chairman. It is very, very important. And chairman is not eligible for the second term also. Okay, so those are the things that you have to remember. And now let us see the next article, see the title. Birth rates in Delhi, Kerala and Tamil Nadu declining at twice the rate of national average, says report. So what is this article talking about? Birth rates. So recently, did we discuss any article regarding birth rates? What is that? It is about indirectly talking about TFR, total fertility rate. So what is total fertility rate? In the reproductive age of a woman, how many children she is giving birth is called as total fertility rate. So is there any article regarding TFR in the recent 2 to 3 days ago? What is that article? TFR is on average 2. Okay. In which state we have low TFR? Bihar is highest. What is the number? 3. I am teaching every day. I am remembering everything. You are writing also. You are revising also, but you are not answering. I will not revise anything after once I go to my office, my room. Okay, so what is the TFR? Average TFR is 2 in our country and low TFR in which states? What is that? 1.5 or 1.9? 1.5. 1.4. Not 1.5, it is 1.4. Okay, so now what is the article is saying that birth rates in Delhi, Tamil Nadu and Kerala are declining at twice. Okay, so now I want to ask you a question. So why birth rates are decreasing in these regions? Yes, education is increasing so that women are getting married late. It is one reason. Next, because of increasing of education, increasing of empowerment of women, and they are taking the decisions on their reproductive rights, whether to go for a child or not. Next, there is increasing of dominance of women in this area. Next, whenever income is increasing, number of children increases or decreases? Yes, decreases. Next, especially in these areas, Kerala and Tamil Nadu, people will be going to other countries. Yes, if the children are, if they are giving birth to children, they will come under Indian children or other countries' children. Other countries' children, right? That is called as just solely. Next, because of that reason, there is decreasing of decreasing of birth rates. And if you take Delhi, what is happening in Delhi? Pollution, and there is very high standard of very high cost of living. Yes or no? Because of that, will they go for giving more births? No. So these are the reasons why there is decreasing of birth rates in this Delhi, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. That's it. Okay, just refer your TFR notes that I taught 2 to 3 days ago. So which state is having more TFR, less TFR, and who did that, and who gave that report? RGI. Very good. And in that article, I also said about some facts regarding this RGI, right? 1971. So see that data also. That's it. Yeah, see this title, Road to Safety. Okay. Again, this is actually old topic. It is not a new topic. So this article is talking about road accidents. So when you are traveling on road by bike or by cycle or even on your foot or taking any other 3-wheelers or 4-wheelers, is that safe in our country especially? No. So what are the reasons for increasing of road accidents? You will be giving better reasons. Very good. Without driving license itself, there is the huge number of people are going for driving. Apart from that, yes, we are not following traffic rules. Okay. U-turn movie also there. No, U-turn movie. Next, what are the reasons? Drunk and driving. Yes or no? It is very quite common, especially in state of Telangana. I don't know about other states, but in Telangana it is there. And next, other reasons. Even our roads are not having that much quality, especially in rainy seasons. You can see potholes. So because of that, potholes also, accidents will happen. Next, overspeed. Very good. Tell me the reasons that you people will be using bikes, but you are not saying anything. Tell me. What are the reasons? Lack of emergency. Triple riding, not using of helmets, and even cars, they won't use seat belts. No electricity. Using mobile, yeah. Using mobile phones while driving, yes, this is also one important reason. Next, other reasons. Yes, actually nowadays, if you travel night time, so nowadays because of increasing of technology, they are using very, very high powered lights. So because of that, you can't see what is there in before you. That is also one important reason why this accidents will happen during the night time. Have you ever observed? So if you drive a car, you will be knowing. So you can't see what is there before you because of that very high focus light from opposite side. Next. Any reasons? Okay. So here road accidents are happening because of this loss of life is happening, right? Now tell me what is the impact of road accidents on India? Burden increasing, right? Next, women widows are increasing, so that government have to provide pensions. Yes, again they will come under this socially backward or economically backward category, and now they will come under reservation, so that there is increasing of burden. Next, and because of loss of especially workforce during these accidents, even it is lost to our GDP economy. Next, yes, 3% of economy will be affected. Next, right to life, that is Article 21 will be getting affected. Next, think and tell me. You have to think, or else you will not get these ideas. Okay, now let us see this article. So here this article is saying that India is experiencing a vital shift in its approach to mobility, and because there is increasing of urbanization, increasing of economic growth, that is presenting more challenges to road safety. So if you compare these rural areas and urban areas, in which areas we have more accidents? Urban areas, right? So because of this urbanization and because of this economic growth, whenever there is increasing of income, rather than going in an auto or auto rickshaw, we will be purchasing a bike. Rather than going in a bike, we will be purchasing a car. That means economic growth is also leading to increasing of traffic on these roads, right? So because of this traffic also, there is increasing of fatalities. So that is the thing which mainly said, and we are having more challenges in this road safety. Will you accept it or not? Okay. So here this article is saying that please make a note of this data. India recorded 1.68 lakh road traffic deaths in 2022. And because of this road accidents, it is losing 3% of GDP every year. Okay, to our GDP, there is loss of 3% because of this road accidents. And because of this road accidents, what is happening? Right to life and personal liberty. Which article is that? Article 21, which is a fundamental right, which is getting affected. Yes or no? And this one is because of this urbanization. This article is saying that urban populations are going to reach 50% of the population. So because of this, government need to take proper interventions for increasing of road safety for the people. And especially we have to go for proper design reforms so that we have to accommodate human errors and we have to prevent fatalities on the roads. Okay, and if you're going or if you're traveling in some areas, you can see this board signboards like accident prone area, so go slow, there is U-turn, like that they will be giving some directions. And even if you're going, especially in some areas, if you're driving for the first time in that area, you don't know where there is a crossroad is there, where there's a U-turn is there, which is the more prone area, like that. So in that areas also government will be keeping some signboards, but we don't know what is the meaning of that signboard, right? So that is one important problem. So before giving license itself, so government need to give the proper information about that meaning of each and every signboards, so that at least they'll be getting aware about what is the meaning of that and how they have to drive in that area. And we have the CSR funds, right? That is corporate social responsibility. Why we discussed in yesterday's class? CSR funds, yesterday's class only I discussed. So we have to divert the CSR funds for what? Huh? Hemant? TB initiatives. In the same way, we can use this CSR funds for decreasing of this road accidents, and we have to go for improving of quality of infrastructure in these roads so that we can decrease this fatalities. Very good. Listening 100% in my class. Okay, so these are the important topics that happened in our today's Hindi newspaper, guys. So by this I'm concluding. Thank you so much for watching, and if you really like this class, please hit the like button and please do share this class to your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to Rathod's IAS Academy.